Have you ever been part of a team that's just buzzing with ideas, but struggling to actually move in one direction? Well, today, we're diving into a visual framework designed to solve that exact problem. It's called an aiming system, and it's an incredible tool for turning all that collective energy into focused action.
I mean, this image right here, it probably feels pretty familiar, doesn't it? It's that feeling of having 100 different ideas, all pulling in 100 different directions. Now, all that energy is fantastic, but how do you funnel it? How do you take that beautiful creative chaos and turn it into a single, focused arrow that's aimed at a common goal?
So, the solution isn't just another to-do list or some complicated project plan. Nope. What's really needed is a completely different kind of map, one that helps us navigate the tricky territory of shared purpose and really helps us understand who we are together.
And here it is. This is the aiming system. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It looks a little complex. But seriously, stick with me here, because once we break it down, you're going to see it's actually an elegant and super powerful guide for helping any group find its true north.
At its core, this whole framework is designed to help a group answer 3 of the most important questions it could ever ask. Who are we? Where are we trying to go? And most importantly, how are we gonna get there? Together.
To really get how this map works, we've got to zoom in right to its absolute center. Everything, and I mean absolutely everything, revolves around this one single core idea. I am because we are. Wow. This one phrase is the philosophical engine of the entire system. It's such a powerful statement, right? It says that our individual identities are fundamentally woven into the very fabric of the group.
So this is the shared identity. It's the collective soul of the group. The whole system is built on this one idea. You just can't have a strong I without a strong we, and that shared foundation becomes the launchpad for literally everything the group does.
Okay, so with that we sitting right at the core, how does the group actually function? Well, radiating out from the center are 4 quadrants. You could think of these as the 4 essential ways of being, or the main operating modes for the collective.
Let's start at the top of the compass, up in the north position. This first quadrant is called 2A, and you know what? It's all about identity.
Just think of the 2M quadrant as the group's North Star. It's the whole process of defining that core we identity and then charting out all the possible paths forward. It basically forces the group to answer those huge questions. Who are we, really, and where are we actually trying to go?
And building this identity isn't some passive thing. It means you're actively mapping out clear pathways. You're building a culture of real trust and credibility. And, this is crucial, you're creating a shared meaning that resonates with every single person in the group. Because without that shared story, that we just falls apart.
All right, so once a group knows who it is and where it's headed, it needs to interact with the world around it. Moving clockwise, we get to our next mode, to tend. So if 2M is the compass, to tend is kind of like the group's eyes and ears. This is the sensory organ of the system. It's constantly scanning the environment, paying super close attention, and trying to make sense of everything it sees and hears.
And this isn't just about passively observing. It's about paying attention with real intention, whether that's through serving your community or governing a process. It creates this awesome feedback loop. You sense what's happening out there, you reflect on what it all means, and then you adjust your understanding of the world. It's a constant learning process.
Okay, so the group knows who it is. It's paying close attention to the world. Now comes the moment of truth. Let's talk about the third quadrant, to will. You can think of to will as the engine room. This is where all that identity, all that meaning, and all that awareness gets converted into raw power. It's the bridge between understanding the world and actually changing it. And this isn't just about logic. No way. Real, true action needs the head, heart, and guts, your whole being. It's about embracing what's called a voluntary necessity, which is really about choosing to do the hard thing because you know it's the right thing. And it's about being realistic and navigating all the pushback and resistance you're definitely going to face. So we have our identity, our awareness, and our engine for action. But what is it all running on? What's the fuel? Well, that brings us to the foundation of the entire system. This bottom quadrant, the Q field, is really unique. See, it's not an action you take. It's the ground you stand on. It's the soil that nourishes everything else, the collective energy, the shared wisdom, and that deep intelligence that the group draws on for its strength. This is where you find the group's raw materials, its energy, its core elements. But it goes so much deeper than that. It's the collective spirit,
the shared intelligence, and ultimately the soul of the group, the legacy it builds and the one it leaves behind.
Okay, so we've looked at all the individual pieces. Now, let's put it all together and see how this aiming system actually flows as a living, breathing process.
So it all works as this continuous cycle. You define your identity with to am, you learn from the world around you with to tend, that informs the committed action you take in to will, and that whole process is constantly fueled by the Q field. But here's the key. It's not a one-time thing. Every single time the group moves through this cycle, that central we gets stronger, clearer, and way more effective.
And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? By moving through this cycle of being and sensing and doing, a group can take all that chaotic, swirling energy and transform it into a focused, potent collective purpose.
So as you think about your own teams, your own communities, maybe even your own family, this whole framework leaves us with a really critical question to chew on. Which part of this system does your we need to focus on right now?